What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark, and today we're covering some more Am I the Butthole? I'm chopping as I say this. If you'd like to skip the initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and along the timeline below. But if you are new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. Now, over on YouTube yesterday, we had a couple of new members. We had Hannah Tatterback, Sunny Peaceful, Copa Curls, and Richard Cordillo. Now Richard, I am sorry, your name has only popped on the list today and it said you joined 2 days ago, so I am very sorry about that, but thank you so much for joining us, and to the rest of the members for your constant support, and for everyone for turning up on the daily to support this channel. You are amazing, and do not forget that. And with that being said, let's just crack on with today's stories. I'm so behind today, guys. Now, our first story comes from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for wanting my ex-girlfriend to be able to attend our wedding when my fiancé doesn't want her to? I, 28 male, got engaged to my girlfriend, 27 female, 3 months ago, and we are planning our wedding. Now, we know how many of our friends we can invite and have started making our initial list. One of my close friends is right now in a relationship with a woman that I dated for 2 years. Our lives were going into different directions. I wanted to have kids, she doesn't, and we determined we needed to break up. It was amicable, we're still on good terms, I don't really talk to her all that much unless it's through my friend. I'm inviting my friend and there's no doubt about it. I have no reason not to give him a +1, and he's obviously going to bring his girlfriend. When I said this to my fiancée, she said she didn't want her at the wedding. At first I tried to be accommodating. I explained the situation to my friend. He said he wouldn't feel comfortable going without her as she'd feel bad. I really want my friend to go, and I told my fiancée that we needed to let her come. She said that I didn't want some woman that I used to fuck there at her wedding. I told her that if she was feeling jealous, that she won. Like literally she won the shitty prize, that is to marry me. And all I want is for my friend to be there. We argued about this back and forth. Eventually, she, in an accusing way, asked why I wanted her at the wedding so bad. I told her that I already explained that. It's not about her, it's about my friend, and that she obviously wasn't listening. We hit an impasse and moved on. She's still mad at me about it, and I'm upset with her about it. Am I the arsehole? Now, I'm not sure if my feelings are totally correct on this one, so always feel free to call me out in a constructive way, please, as well. But trying to put myself like in the wife's shoes in this situation and say like I had a partner and they brought their ex there, and I think those jealousy feelings would be going around in my head as well. And I know, jealousy feelings are a horrible thing, but they are also a natural feeling sometimes too. And I think that your wife would be totally right to feel that way in this situation, to be at your wedding. You really have to consider her feelings on your wedding day, right? It's just about the two of you. It's not about your friend and, your ex. It's about you two and what your wife and you want. And I think the compromise was there, that your friend could come without his girlfriend. I don't think you have to bend over backwards to invite your ex because of all this, right? But Magnetism says, I would say your friend is an arsehole for making his attendance contingent on bringing your ex, his current girlfriend, when he knows your fiancé doesn't want exes to attend the wedding, and you're the arsehole for pushing the issue. I get wanting your friend there, but forcing your fiancé to put up with what she doesn't want instead of making your friend put up with something he doesn't want, also you ultimately get what you want, isn't a great start to a marriage on any front. And me says, you're the arsehole, your future wife doesn't want someone you banged at your wedding. That's totally acceptable behaviour. Juniper Berry says, you're the arsehole, seriously dude, good grief. And Gambit7 says, you're the arsehole, who are you marrying? Your fiancé or your all-time best friend forever? I say this as someone whose ex-girlfriend was at my wedding. This was only because my fiancé and her became friends over a couple of years. Are there no other opportunities for you to celebrate with your guy friend that doesn't involve the ex? Must he bring someone to the reception? And Stones33 says, you're the arsehole, you should be prioritising how your future wife feels overall. Even if your friend is your best friend, your wife is the person you'll really be spending the rest of your life with. It's the choice you're making, and especially if you want to start a family with this person. If you really feel she's the one, your best friend honestly doesn't or shouldn't have any say. Why would your dumbass friend decide to date your ex to begin with? It's unhealthy. Friends, especially close, shouldn't date each other's exes for reasons exactly like this. And Meatball says, you're the arsehole, I would 100% dump you and call it off honestly. Engaged, planning our wedding, and you're still going to disrespect me and invalidate my feelings over a girl you used to bang? Bye. But now I'm going to turn it to you guys. What do you guys think of this situation, and how would you deal with it? Imagine yourself in the wife's shoes. How would you feel if, your partner wanted to bring their ex along to the wedding? Not directly, but even indirectly by bringing a friend who's, dating their ex. How would you feel in that situation? Would you feel jealous at all, or would you be totally fine with it? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story comes from Freddie James 91. Am I the arsehole for not telling my new foster parents about the money that my late foster mum gave me, even though she needs surgery and can't afford it? I'm 15 male and have been in foster care since I was born. From what I'm told, my mum was real young and her parents made her give me up for adoption, which realistically turned into me bouncing around foster homes my entire life. My mum wrote me a letter that I'm surprised was even given to me, explaining everything. She basically said that I was the most beautiful thing she'd ever laid eyes on, and that she is sorry she couldn't keep me, as her parents wouldn't allow it, and that she hopes I search for her someday, which I plan to. Her parents can go fuck themselves though, because they'll never be family after putting me through this. In 15 years, I have been in 3 orphanages and 19 foster homes. Most families give me up after receiving their first state paycheck, but a few have held on to me for a few months. My last foster mum was perfect. She loved me, like actually loved me. Not the fake BS that normal families spew. She did everything she could to possibly bring out the real me, and she truly, truly cared. Unfortunately, my beloved foster mum passed away 3 months ago from terminal cancer that I wasn't aware she had. She included me in her will, where I received 50k in a trust fund that I can't touch until I'm 18, and 8k of just play cash that I can use now. My new foster parents aren't that great. I was dropped off on their doorstep the day after my mum died, without so much as an introduction. They showed me around the house and then just left me to my own devices, and that's how it's been since I've been here. They don't speak to me, they basically ignore my existence. Now I'm not sure if my caseworker told them about the money that I've been given, because lately my foster mum has been dropping little comments like, I really need this surgery, how can I afford it? She isn't speaking directly to me, but it seems like it occurs every single time I walk into the room. So I'm assuming my caseworker blabbed. Mind you, she literally does not have conversations with me, so I don't even know what the surgery is for, and admittedly, I don't care. The real reason I feel like the arsehole is because I have this money and I could help her out with the surgery, where she is technically helping me out by putting a roof over my head. But at the same time, I know this home will be short-lived, as well as in a few years I will be 18 and forget about these people exist, much like they do with me now. And I know they already get $750 a month just to have me here. Am I the arsehole? Bloody hell, that story was a hard read. I had to stop several times in that when I was blabbing. 3 orphanages and 19 foster homes in 15 years. Man, that is crazy. And I'm so sorry that this person had to go through this. At 15, I couldn't imagine going through that in my life at that age. That's absolutely heartbreaking stuff. But I gotta say, not the arsehole in this situation. And I know this might sound horrible, but these people are strangers to you, and the way they sound like they're treating you too, they're treating you like a stranger, and you don't owe these people anything. That money is for you, it was left to you. You've had the roughest of 15 years, and that money could be great for your future. Basically for your future, really. So I hope you do keep it, and you don't buckle under any pressure that's put on you. Not the arsehole in my opinion, but Howard Project says, not the arsehole, do not even hint at having money. 50k may seem like a lot, but if you use it to go to college, it would only cover all 4 years if you chose an in-state school and live frugally. That 8k would help, and quotes, they already get $750 a month just to have me here. That's not their paycheck either. It's supposed to be used to provide for you. The cost of keeping an extra bedroom, higher utilities, etc., and any clothes, toiletries, school supplies, etc. that you need. You shouldn't have to spend even that 8k on anything. If they're making you uncomfortable and claiming they can't afford basic expenses or their own medical expenses, tell your worker. If your worker won't help you, search this link for legal aid in your state, and then provided a link. And OP replies, is that really what the money is intended for? I've never had a foster family actually spend any of that money on me. Most of my clothes were given to me for free by the few friends that I've made over the years for all the Salvation Army / help for needy family groups. All my toiletries also come from that. Everything I get is free handouts from the state basically. And G-Sit says, Is there someone you can report this to? That money is meant solely to support you. I think you need a new caseworker. It's the job of the caseworker to prevent this exact situation. And OP replies once again, I'm not sure honestly. I mean, I guess I can reach out to my guardian ad litem and see if he can do something about it. I had no idea that money was supposed to be used to support me, so I never looked into it. I stupidly thought that money was like a payment as a thank you for taking a child that no one wants type of thing. And John McLean says, not the arsehole, that money is yours, man. Sorry to hear about your hard life. Take it from me, it'll make you tougher, and that's never a bad thing. Don't waste money someone that actually loved you gave you on someone who doesn't truly love you. Best of luck, man. And Visa Card says, not the arsehole, keep that cash, kid. It'll be a huge head start in life. For any kid not from wealth, let alone someone who's been dealt your hand. Don't feel guilty. Your foster mum loved you. She gave that for you, not these people who are just like all the other foster parents you've had. These people are adults, and they can do what adults do and sort out their problems themselves, rather than trying to subtly manipulate you, the kid they're meant to care for. Foster parents like that make me sick. Best of luck for your future, bud. You seem like a great person. It says a lot that you're even considering helping these people when by the sounds of it they've done little more than house and feed you. Your foster mum would be proud of you wanting to help these people. I'm sure she'd also say what I'm sure you'll hear from this thread. Keep the cash. And Tizzy says, not the arsehole, you're under no obligation to give up your money to people who pay you the bare minimum of attention for an undisclosed medical issue they might not even have. Does she seem sick? Any actual visible issues? Obviously that's not a wholly reliable metric, but I can't help thinking if the woman needs surgery that bad, she would be showing it somehow. From what I understand, foster kids don't really get a lot of help once they age out of the system. Once you turn 18, officialdom basically just cuts you loose, right? If so, that money gives you a serious head start and much needed financial cushion. If you're smart, and it sounds like you are, you'll hang on to as much as possible for as long as possible. Go to college maybe, get a good high paying job, find your bio mum, and I don't know, take her on vacay to Paris. But don't let this latest set of losers get it. Any so-called parents who try to guilt trip their own kid for money, foster or not, doesn't deserve one penny. And OP finally replies saying she's overweight. Aside from that, there are no noticeable ailments. And yeah, once I turn 18, I will be out on the street basically if I don't play it smart. I mean, there are hostels around that a few of my other foster siblings have checked into once they age out, but other than that, there aren't many resources. And it's just so fucking heartbreaking that, you know, people use foster children to get some sort of paycheck for themselves. It's so disgusting. How do they get away with that? It just blows my mind. And it's just so heartbreaking to think that how many others are there like this that's going through this exact same thing. Oh man. Now I'm going to turn it to you guys. What do you guys think of the situation, and what can OP do to help themselves? Obviously, keep this money. That's a no-brainer, right? And I know some people in this community were foster children themselves, and some of them have had troubled upbringings too. So I would really value your input too. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And our next story is from Sad Cantaloupe. Am I the arsehole I called someone a dumbass for taking surf lessons when he can't swim? I teach surf lessons, and we had a new set of people come in, and when we got into the water he starts freaking out, wailing and screaming and holding onto the board. I asked him what's wrong, and he told me he can't swim. I thought this was some joke, so I said, haha, very funny, now paddle. And again, he's freaking out and just hanging onto the board, not swimming or anything. That's when I found out he can't swim, and he was serious. I drag him to the shore and he asks if he can just lay on the board and I can bring him over so he can wait for a wave. I was pissed that I'm wasting my time on this when I had a class to teach. I said, listen dumbass, you need to know how to swim to go surfing, just like you need to know how to swim for water polo, scuba diving and many other activities. If you can't really swim, then go away, I'm done wasting time here. He leaves and there was a massive argument I can hear from the beach where he's yelling at our staff demanding a refund and other shit. He later writes really bad reviews about us on Yelp, saying very unprofessional, unwilling to assist me in learning how to surf, which our staff responded back with, sir, you didn't know how to swim. That's a prerequisite to surfing, something that should be self-evident. Now, I might be totally wrong in saying this, I usually am, but don't they have like some sort of forms to fill out that you can actually swim, or ask these questions before they take people surfing or scuba diving or whatever, saying, can you swim before you do this? I know they shouldn't have to, but you know, we're in a world of, you know, absolute stupid people out there. So I almost kind of want to say, you know, everyone sucks here because of that, but I will go for a not the arsehole, because he could have put multiple people's lives in danger as well as his own in that situation. If he went out there on a board and then suddenly fell in the water, you know, people would have had to try and save him in this situation. And let's make up a situation that he did go out and paddle out and he fell off the board and did drown. What would happen? Would your company be liable because you were teaching him, or are we talking about different country, different rules here? I don't know, but that'd be an interesting one to ask. Or did he have to sign some sort of waiver? I don't know, I'm very curious about that one. But Riley Ray says, not the arsehole. This man could have gotten himself killed or someone else. It would have been incredibly dangerous to allow him to continue. His suggestions were dumb. It's pretty sad that no one would assume you would need to know how to swim to go out in the ocean. That's how people drown. And Infinite Tie says, not the arsehole. You'd be amazed how many people try to scuba dive when they can't swim. Absolutely astounds me. It's the ocean. Scuba diving is fairly safe, but being able to swim in a huge ocean where anything can happen is kind of basic. The lack of common sense on people and this dude amazes me. And Webby Vanderquack says everyone sucks here. Obviously he shouldn't be attempting to surf when he can't swim, but the listen dumbass thing was unprofessional and totally unnecessary. You could have said everything else you said without the insult, and in fact the way your staff responded on the Yelp review was ideal. And to protect yourself in future, you should probably ask people whether they're competent swimmers. You don't actually want to find out only after someone's drowned that they couldn't swim or couldn't swim well. And Din Valve says everyone sucks here. The question, can you swim? How strong of a swimmer are you? Or how comfortable are you in the water should cross your lips within the first 5 minutes of every conversation you have with a new student. I am a scuba instructor and you won't believe how many people rock up with no swimming skills, expecting to be taught diving and get certified. It is a part of your role as an instructor to clear up any misconceptions the general public may have about the sport you teach. Now, I turn it to you guys. What would you do in this situation? Do you think that, you know, OP's language was a bit rough? Do you think they should be asking people if they can actually swim beforehand? Or do you think, no, this is all on the customer. They should be the ones, you know, with a bit of common sense, right? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story is from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole because I don't want to give my dog to my autistic nephew? I found a dog, Dave. Great name for a dog. That has been abandoned at a dog park. I waited with him until it was dark and then took him home with the intention of trying to find an owner or a rescue that would take him. He had no collar, and when I took him to my vet the next day, we couldn't find a microchip. He was clearly someone's pet at some point. He's neutered, housebroken, and very friendly. Rehoming him never really panned out. No owner ever turned up despite searching and posting on lost pet pages, and I wasn't willing to take him to a kill shelter. My husband was annoyed at first, but it's been almost 2 years now. My other dog has bonded with him, I've fallen in love with him, and even my husband has grudgingly accepted him. As far as I'm concerned, Dave's part of our family. My brother-in-law and his family relocated to our city and moved in with us while they were closing on a house. My 8-year-old nephew has autism and it's caused him some struggles. His parents has talked about trying to find him a pet, but I guess they never found a good fit, at least until they met Dave. He really bonded with Dave to the point where he sneaks out of bed at night to sleep in Dave's dog bed with him. Dave is all he talks about and he gets upset whenever we leave the house and don't take the dogs with us. I guess my sister-in-law talked to my husband about keeping Dave when they moved out, and my husband told her he'd have to talk to me, but I guess there was a strong insinuation that it would be okay. I only found out about this proposal when my brother-in-law approached me and thanked me for letting them keep Dave before my husband ever even mentioned it to me. My husband and I had a fight, and when the dust had settled, it's the three of them against me. My husband feels that because Dave was living with us more by accident than design, so we're really fostering him more than keeping him. And so it would be selfish to keep him when my nephew clearly loves him so much. He says we can go to the shelter and get another companion for our other dog, so that's like a win-win. Dave gets a home and another dog gets out of the shelter for Christmas, and Dave would certainly be very loved and spoiled with my in-laws, and yet after 2 years he feels like my dog. The thought of giving him away after all this time hurts, and the idea of my in-laws using my nephew's autism as some kind of trump card to prove they're entitled to have him really rubs me the wrong way, and I don't see him as interchangeable, like I can just pop down to the shelter and score a perfect replacement. ETA, my husband doesn't hate Dave, he still plays with him, pets him, gives him treats, etc. Just like he does with our other dog. He just had a feeling that if we took him in we'd be stuck with him, and that's what happened. We both tried to find a new home for him, but it became clear after a few months it wasn't going to happen. But we did try. I didn't strong arm or bully my husband into keeping him, and while we never formally sat down and said, okay, Dave is officially our dog from this day forward, a lot of things strongly implied that. From the time my husband came home from PetSmart with an engraved bone-shaped ID tag for Dave's collar that matched our other dogs to agreeing to get him microchipped with our address at his annual vet visit last year. He jokes that Dave was an accident and that he's useless because our other dog is a purebred that he got and trained specifically for hunting, while Dave is just a mutt that sometimes plays fetch and sleeps on the couch. I think my in-laws heard Dave's backstory, picked up on the jokes and assumed maybe we would be willing to part with him since we tried to rehome him before. And I'm not going to divorce my husband because he's willing to part with Dave, because I'm almost certain his desire to give Dave to my nephew is coming more from a place of wanting my nephew to have something that gives his childhood a sense of normalcy, rather than dump a dog he doesn't want off on someone else. I think he really meant to talk to me about my sister-in-law's request. It's just my brother-in-law was so excited at the possibility of keeping the dog that my brother-in-law beat him to it. Second ETA, Dave reacts to my nephew the same way he reacts to everyone. He wags his tail and loves to take treats, but they don't have this transformative connection that transcends all time and space. It's not like we all encouraged my nephew to get so attached to Dave because we thought it would be adorable or funny. It happened rather quickly and organically. You know, this is your dog, and for them to try and push you into getting rid of your dog, to give your dog away, is absolutely awful of them to do so, and it's not doing the child any favours either, convincing them that they might be able to get this dog, and they're not. It's going to break their heart in the end, isn't it? And let's take a step back and think about the dog too. You know, this dog was already lost and then it found a home, so it probably loves that home as much as you love this dog. So no, don't pass Dave around again. Dave has found a loving home already, and I'm sure he wants to stay there with his other dog friend and just enjoy life. Good on Dave. I just love that name for that dog, man. I used to call a lot of pets Bob and Jim. I used to love that. Just like real human names. And Viva Veronica says, not the arsehole, they're trying to bully you. Now, a conversation between you and your husband about whether to keep the dog is one thing, but your husband basically did this without consulting you. But your brother-in-law and his wife have no say in this. Their autistic kid is irrelevant. California Jade says, they're not doing your nephew any favours in leading them on that he actually might get your dog. Kids, autistic or not, need to learn they don't get everything they might want. There are so many good dogs that need a home right now. Just Google how to apply for service dog for a child. There are organisations that train dogs for that purpose. Not the arsehole, just because it's easy doesn't make it right. They can get their own dog. And Daedranka says, keep Dave and give your hubby to the in-laws. Not the arsehole. But now I'm going to turn it to you guys. What do you think of this situation? Do you think because, this dog did get along with the autistic nephew, he maybe passed the dog on? The dog came into the family by chance anyway? Or do you think, no, this is OP's dog and, Dave has found a home now, so that's where Dave should stay? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Now, once again, guys, thank you for being here today. I hope you have enjoyed today's stories. I'm sorry it's so late in the night. Oh, I've had a nightmare of a day. Someone hit my car yesterday. I needed to get that repaired. I needed to be in work for a photo shoot today. It's been an absolute nightmare. But before you say it, I am taking some time for myself too as well. But I just love reading to you guys. I love your reactions and I love the connection that we have on our channel. So, it's always an inspiration for me to get on here. I was excited to jump on the mic and talk to you guys, Seeing the same names coming here daily and having a little chat with you guys before the video gets started, it's absolutely one of the highlights of my days. And if you have a moment and you want to get involved with the channel further, we have a Discord channel, we have Twitter, and yeah, I think that's it. I was gonna list off a whole bunch of stuff then, but I've only got two. Thank you so much for the love and support, and I will see you in the next one, you spicy so-and-sos. Much love to you. Goodbye.